Welcome to the Hardstyle Kettlebell Pro Q&A. I've been receiving a lot of comments lately and questions from you guys, so I want to take the time to answer everything. So here we go. David B asks, how often and how many reps for the kettlebell deadlift prior to moving to simple and sinister? Great question, David. So remember that you must master your kettlebell deadlift before moving on to swings. You have to learn the movement. Make sure that you practice and you don't make it into a workout. So you could practice daily. Think of 3 to 5 sets, 3 to 5 reps is ideal for practicing your skill, your strength. And then you can increase the reps as you go along. You can move up to 5 to 10 repetitions. So 3 to 5 times a week, 3 to 5 reps, and then move up to 5 to 10 repetitions. How much weight? Well, it really depends on the size of kettlebell that you have available, the one that you have at home. Maybe you have a 24 or you have double kettlebells or a 32. Use the weights that you have and then build up to heavier weights. Ideally, you'd be able to deadlift 48 kilos, 5 sets of 5, and that would give you a solid foundation of strength before going into power, into ballistic exercises. Next question. Zua 1978 asks, how much rest between rounds, if any, in the Gladiator complex? A lot of programs will recommend a target rest, so it could be 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, or even longer, sometimes 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes even. I say take your time. You want to manage your heart rate and your breathing and make sure that you feel fully recovered before you can hit it again with that level of intensity. Too often the rest period is too short and then you can't perform. So what's the point? So rest as long as necessary. Use what's called auto-regulation. So you just go by feel. When you feel good, you feel ready, hit your set again or your round. So Lee Tom asks, could you please tell me set and rep and workout in a week, please, about the resilient training? The resilient training is meant to be done as active recovery to complement your main program. So if you're doing a regular split training 2 to 4 times a week, you would have active recovery days. Whether you're stretching or doing loaded stretching or any other type of activity to complement, help you recover for your main training. So don't worry about how long it takes you. I would do it once or twice a week as variety to have fun and enjoy and play. Nicola K asks, hello Louka, great video, thumbs up. I just wanted to ask you, is it possible to do this training with one kettlebell? And how would you cycle it? Reps per side. I have a 12 kilo, 16 kilo, 20 kilo, but not 2 of the same. This is for the Gladiator kettlebell complex. So Nicola, you can do the same workout with one kettlebell. Do it exactly the same as written. And just use one and then take a rest and do the other side. Use the kettlebells that you have. If you have only a limited amount, just use those. Use the 12, 16, and 20. Or maybe just the 16 and the 20. And also, if you're strong, then just use the 20. Right? So any double kettlebell complex that I post, guys, or any one you see online in the internet, you could definitely do the same thing with only one. Delgado asks, this is a great system. Should we finish the ladders in session A before moving on to session B and C? Thank you for your time and sharing your knowledge with us. My pleasure, Delgado. So for the ladders, yes, you want to do session A, B, C on 3 separate occasions, meaning 3 separate days. I would not do them in the same day. That would be way too much volume and not allow your body for recovery and build-up. Antonio asks, a very interesting workout. One question, how many maximum repetitions of an exercise should we do before moving on to a harder variation? For the calisthenics, if you're doing a very hard version of an exercise, start with just 2 to 3 reps and 2 to 3 sets. Build up 2 to 3 sets, keep adding more sets. Maintain the same amount of reps, so 2 to 3, but you build up your sets over time. So 2 to 3 sets, then 3 to 5 sets, then over time, over weeks, 3 5 to 10 sets, okay? Once you have 5 to 10 sets, once you reach 10 sets of 2 to 3 reps, then you could start adding reps and then start over with minimal amount of sets, right? Hope that makes sense. So if you start at 2 to 3 repetitions, then move on to 3 to 5 repetitions, right? And just do 2-3 sets, and then add 3 to 5 sets, and then build 5 to 10 sets, just 3 to 5 reps, right? Once you graduate 3 to 5 reps, on the high end, 5 reps, then you build up to 5 to 10 reps. How many sets? 2 to 3. 2 to 3 sets, 3 to 5 sets, and then 5 to 10 sets of 5 to 10 reps. Hope that makes sense. If you're using calisthenics, you can't add any weight besides your own, so you have to play a lot with volume, intensity, sets, and reps for a while. Hang on Snoop asks, I hope that my question comes across as respectful. Yes, it does. I've really come to appreciate your approach. Do you see any value in kettlebell sports style lifting for people not interested in competing in that sport? Great question. Maybe some people would disagree with me, but you have to ask yourself for practical reasons. What is your purpose? Why would you want to do that? If you do not want to compete, is it worth your time? Is it worth your while? Maybe not. Maybe it is. However, if you're looking for variation, you want to do something different, you want to learn a new skill, then yes, the answer is you should. But besides that, if your performance is very narrow, if your time is limited, then I would reconsider that. So there's really no right or wrong answer. It depends. And it really depends on you, your preferences, and what your focus is at the time. I've never personally done any kettlebell sport because I've never been interested and I just don't have the time. Ash asks, is SNS 2 times a week plus calisthenics, i.e. rings 3 times a week, better than Q&D plus calisthenics with rings? Specifically for BJJ and Muay Thai. Well, Ash, I would do the SNS program for a while. Make sure you master those movements. The one-arm swing and the get-up will really help you in your BJJ, in your sport-specific training. Of course, Q&D is great. It's great for speed, and if you throw punches and kicks is great as well, but it's more advanced. So make sure you hit the 32 kilo simple standard in SNS before you take on the Q&D. Moving to Korea answered pretty much the same thing, so I concur with moving to Korea. Both would work well. I believe it was in a Q&D book that is advised to achieve the simple standard before starting Q&D. Hope that helps. I agree. Andy asks, hi Louka, do you ever incorporate Tabata into your KB training? I've recently added KB swings to this protocol. Great for increasing VO2 max. Andy, I usually do not do Tabata with kettlebell training. I don't see the need. I know that it is a great protocol and many people have had great success with that, but Tabata has become a celebrity kind of training system where people have taken it to another level and have incorporated this for longer than the designated or recommended 4-minute period. I usually do not do high intensity interval training. Most of the time it's low to moderate intensity. I'm currently doing the Q&D protocol, which I do find interestingly intense enough, but it gives me adequate recovery where I'm able to maintain my power and my recovery, and they both work in a synergistic way. As far as doing Tabata with kettlebells, I'm sure it's possible, but it would be a killer. So it'd be more of a peaking tactic that you would use if you're trying to do, for example, a snatch test. But there are other protocols you can use and probably better ones than Tabata for kettlebell training. But if you find value in it, keep it up, brother. Guys, thank you so much for all your questions. And if you have any more, don't be shy. Drop them down below in the comments and I'll be answering them in the next video.